On Wednesday, President Joe Biden finally released his decision about student loan debt cancellation. And it appears the right wing is melting down. Before I get into that, let me share some details here. Let's see. Now, the plan provides up to about $10,000 of student loan debt cancellation for individuals making less than $125,000 or $250,000 for households per year. Biden also will cancel up to $20,000 to those who receive Pell Grants, borrowers who are employed by nonprofits, the military, or federal, state, tribal, or local governments may be eligible to have all their student loans forgiven through the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. They're also proposing a rule to create new income-driven repayment plans that will require borrowers to pay no more than 5% of their discretionary income monthly on undergrad loans. It'll also raise the amount of income that's considered non-discretionary income and therefore is protected from repayment, guaranteeing that no borrower earning under 225% of the federal poverty level, about the annual equivalent of a $15 minimum wage for a single borrower, will have to make any monthly payments. Forgive loan balances after 10 years of payments instead of 20 years for borrowers with loan balances of $12,000 or less. It would also cover the borrower's unpaid monthly interest as long as they make their monthly interest, their monthly payments, even when that monthly payment amount is zero. It's also extends for the final time the moratorium on payments until the end of the year. Now, this plan is expected to help around 43 million Americans. Now, is this good? Yes. The part about not accruing interest, that's very, very huge. Now, is it still, it's still not full debt cancellation. Now, I think full debt cancellation is the correct policy. Student loan debt shouldn't exist. It's not like getting a house or a car. It's getting an education so that you could theoretically become more employable and actually earn a higher income. For the millions of people who got these loans, again, that didn't work out. The jobs weren't there. The pay wasn't there. So, all right. Hold on for a minute. I got to take a real quick break. We're going to come back. We'll finish the story. So stay right here. All right. Sorry about that. We're back. All right. As I was saying, the costs of education have been massively overinflated for decades. Now, this doesn't, again, really address a major issue, all right, which is that education, it should be free. Student loans should not exist at all. Here's a situation where the right actually makes an interesting point about student loans. Now, look, they say that, well, hey, the ease and availability of government-backed student loans gives incentives to for-profit schools to raise tuition. And I think that's a good point. But their solution to that isn't to, tell students who took out that debt to fuck off. No, you do it by using the government to fund schools directly at no cost to the students. That's what you should actually do. And when you do that, have the government negotiate with the schools so that the costs will come down for the taxpayer. That's what this country actually used to do before. And people were able to go to college very cheaply or free. That said, we don't do that anymore. And we have this exponential increase in the prices of college. So now that said, Republicans, we're going to go to some of their reactions. First, here's Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell saying this: Democrat student loan socialism is a slap in the face to working Americans who sacrificed to pay their debt or made different career choices to avoid debt. A wildly unfair redistribution of wealth toward higher earning people. Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel called it Biden's bailout for the wealthy. As hardworking Americans struggle with soaring costs and a recession, Biden is giving a handout to the rich. Biden's bailout unfairly punishes Americans who saved for college or made a different career choice. And voters see right through this short-sighted, poorly veiled vote by Senator Mitt Romney. Romney said, to see what's being done to bribe voters, Biden's student loan forgiveness plan may win Democrats some votes, but it fuels inflation, foots taxpayers with other people's financial obligations. It is unfair to those who paid their own way and creates irresponsible expectations. House Judiciary GOP says, if you take out a loan, you pay it back, period. Well, okay, hold on here. Does that count for Paycheck Protection Program loans? Because, a lot of rich people took out these loans. A lot of the same people that are complaining about paying back student loans or not paying back student loans are the same people who had their Paycheck Protection Program loans forgiven by the government. In fact, look, the average debt canceled for businesses that got paycheck protection loans was about $95,700. Now, I love the idea that this helps rich people. Really. First of all, nobody making over $125,000 will get to $10,000 in cancellation. This is means tested and income capped. And now, if you're in LA or New York City or Seattle, you're not. That's not rich. That's not sitting on tons and tons of money. Now, is it decent living? Yeah, sure. But again, we're not talking about millionaires and billionaires. Okay. Now, there's more. Tim Pool also complained about this. Who, of course, the same Tim Pool that got nearly $12,000 in paycheck protection loan forgiveness. You also have Rising's Robbie Sove saying Biden is saying F you to every financially responsible person in this country. It's just incredible. Wait, you already had millions of people who were paying on their loans every single month, and they still barely made a dent on the principal because of the massive amounts of interest. This guy is telling those people to get fucked. Chud. Speaking of chuds, we have Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh said this: there's no such thing as student loan forgiveness. There's only student loan transferal, where the debt is transferred from the person who took out the loan to someone else who did not take out the loan. And it's funny how it's kind of how cutting taxes for the rich worked out, where rich people don't have to pay their taxes and the tax burden fell to the poor and the middle class. But look, speaking of taxes, by the way, your taxes aren't going up. You're not getting billed for this. It's not going to affect you at all if you have loans or if you don't have loans. But it's amazing the kind of propaganda that they use. We also have Representative Jim Jordan saying student loan forgiveness will benefit wealthy elites. Once again, Joe Biden forgets about real America as if, he knows what real America is. Wealthy elites don't take out student loans, you fucking dimwit. Absolute lying piece of crap. No, look, the reality here is the people that are helped the most by student loan cancellation are actually Black Americans. The average loan debt held by Black Americans is about $52,000. Black and African American bachelor's degree holders have an average of $52,000 of student loan debt. 45% of this debt is from student loans or graduate school. 40% of Black graduates have student loan debt from graduate school, while 22% of white college graduates have graduate school debt. Yet Black incomes are less than the incomes of white people. Now, look, this is a great argument for full debt cancellation. You should get rid of it all. Because it's not just an economic issue, by the way. It's a racial issue. Today, the average white family has roughly 10 times the amount of wealth as the average black family, while white college graduates have over 7 times more wealth than black college graduates. And so this is a big issue. But you have two more. You have Ben Shapiro saying, I have a controversial idea about paying off student loan debt. Don't take out debt you will be unlikely to pay off. Don't ask others to pay your debts. Well, again, let's talk about taking Paycheck Protection Program loans. Don't ask others to pay off your debts. And Steven Crowder saying this, student loan forgiveness sounds really nice to illegal immigrants, people with no life experience, people who don't have families yet, and people who have used preferred pronouns. Ghouls. All of them. These guys are complete and utter ghouls. Again, they're spouting just complete and utter lies about what who is actually going to benefit from student loan debt cancellation. It's absolutely gross. And again, you want to look at, Shapiro and Crowder or Charlie Kirk. Another good example. A lot of these people massively backed by incredibly wealthy donors. Again, Charlie Kirk never graduated college and just was immediately recruited to do right-wing propaganda. And those guys, they want to talk about how, the student loan debt cancellation is going to help the rich. You are rich, and you don't have student loans. Again, absolutely ridiculous. But hey, this is who they are.